very good afternoon to you. Welcome to another banging edition of the Chick Chat right here on Tembisa Content TV, the show where we give women a platform who are doing extremely well for themselves. Nndivhaleni Leni Netshiavhela. Speaking of women who are doing really well for themselves, I have the Diva today on the show. From MCing to radio producing, this girl sure is a vibe.
I'm trying to find a closet so I could hide myself. I could really use a rope and hang myself. Looking in the mirror.
I am chilling with the Diva herself. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Lenny.
You look so beautiful.
Thank you so much. You look beautiful.
You look stunning. Is this like a Bonang vibe? Because I can sense like a bit of your girl B.
Yeah, girl B. Yes,
am I
it
right?
is. Yes, you're right. You're correct. You're correct. Yeah, she's a fashion icon, and I really look up to her. So every time I dress up for something big like this is, I always
love it. Love it.
I always go all out. So yeah, this is very Bonang-ish. Yeah.
So I want to do this, right? I want to guess what your name stands for. Her stage name is ZanDeevah. So I'm assuming because your name is Zandile Sithole, it's Zan for Zandile and Diva for Diva as in a female hustler. Because that's what you are.
That's
what
I
yeah, you
yes, that's
so
correct. That is right. That is so correct. Because a lot of people, they say ZanDeevah. I'm like, it's not ZanDeevah. It's ZanDeevah. It's Zan for Zandile. Perfect. And Diva because personality-wise, I am kind of a diva sometimes. Although I can adapt to people and calm down. I am a diva sometimes, but also I'm a female version of a hustler, right?
Yeah, because that's what I thought when I was researching you. I got a sense of a hardworking black woman, and you ooze so much confidence. By the way,
yes,
I did pick that up.
Yes, I think my confidence works for me a lot, because. As gorgeous as I am.
Of course.
Growing up, it wasn't like that, Sometimes when you grow up, you just reach a stage where you're not so, and then you become, my confidence is what spoke for me. Because I wasn't the prettiest girl in high school or the prettiest girl among my friends. So my confidence, I had to make that choice. You're not going to be in the background because I'm never in the background. So my confidence is what spoke for me, and
you are.
Yeah, thank you. And so are you. I love confidence because confidence doesn't clash. It doesn't clash. It gels.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
I want you to paint your childhood for me. How was it growing up?
Childhood was good. I was the victim of bullying actually in primary school. I think from grade 3 all the way until grade 7 I was kind of bullied, but I've always been a sporty person, so even in primary school I played netball. That was my escape. So childhood was good. My parents gave me everything I needed. I was very comfortable. I'm a Kasi chick, so my grandmothers, both from my parents, are from Tembisa. Tembisa. Safety and that too. So yeah, I used to go there a lot because I'm a Kasi chick, My friends used to call me a ghetto snob when we were growing up in primary school, high school. Yeah, ghetto snob. But yeah, it was a pretty good childhood. There's nothing that I can complain about besides the bullying, but I managed to pick myself up from that.
And how did the bullying affect you?
It affected me quite a lot because I was bullied by people who are my friends, these people are they were my friends. We used to chill at break together, we used to share our lunch together, but there was just that sense of bullying that don't do this, give me your lunch money, don't look pretty, or you look like this, So yeah, it was tricky. It was very tricky. A lot of sleepless nights crying, coming back from school, but I never really showed it because I'm not one to show my problems. Because I feel if you don't show your problems, then people don't know that you have problems.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it didn't affect me much. I can't say it haunts me right now. I'm over it. I'm totally over it. But yeah, it shaped me to be the person that I am.
I can't believe somebody called you not pretty. That's a lie.
Girl, you should see my childhood pictures, girl. Thank you.
Yeah. You went to high school in Knockham Park. Yeah. And how was that?
Knockham High was an experience. Knockham High was nice. I met a lot of my friends, people who I call my friends now. I met them in Knockham High. So I feel Knockham High was a good school. I completed my grade 8 to matric in record time, So Yeah, Nockham High was a good school. It was, yeah, it was nice.
And you were in the national team for under 19 basketball.
That's right.
What happened to that?
That's right.
Why am I not seeing on my screens?
No, because I had to make a choice. Okay, so in high school, I was a very sporty person. But outside of high school, I knew people who were in the media industry. I knew like DJs in Tembisa. I knew Slegza, which may his soul rest in peace, a very good friend of mine. I knew Vic the Groove. I don't know if you know, like these big names, but we were still growing up at that time. So as much as I was like committed to my basketball, I was also committed to this media life. So I had to make a choice between the two. And I knew that I could get to a place with the basketball. But sports, there's injuries, there's competition. Well, just like any other industry. But with sports, like it can end in a flash. You can fall on your knee and it's over, you know. So I had to make that choice, but I enjoyed every minute of it. I had a coach who was also a father, and he literally, I was in his nest. You know, he took me from one level to another, until I actually played for the national team under 19. Yeah.
Don't you want to give him a shout out?
Shout out to Mr. Bill in Darangwa. I love you. I love you. And you know, he was my teacher. He was my coach. He was my father. So I was always so confused on what to call him. I love you, sir. I love you, Papandari. I love you, coach. Shout out to you. You really shaped me. Like, you really
so
shaped
beautiful.
me. Thank you.
I want to know if there's a difference between Zandile Sithole and ZanDeevah.
Not really. Not really. Because, you know, I don't wear a personality. This is who I am. Because Zandile, around family, around friends, it's still loud. We are pop. People around me are always laughing, or I always want to be in an environment where people are laughing. ZanDeevah, I can be a diva. Like, I can be on diva mode. Like, okay, celeb mode now. Or, okay, let's be humble. Okay, you know. But there's not much of a difference. But I really, when it comes to like friendships, I really have to draw a line, because I need to know if people are friends with Zandi or people are friends with ZanDeevah. So I can't have friends with ZanDeevah, because ZanDeevah is a brand. Yeah. So.
Do you remember when you were featured in DVO's song?
Wow, girl, that's great. What's going on?
No, I want to know if you want to venture into music.
So like I said, when I was in high school, I knew people, I knew DJs, I knew producers. So this one time I was just chilling at this guy's house. His name is Diva. So he had a house track, and he was like to me, Zandi, can you sing? I'm like, yeah, I can sing. I can't really. But I was like, yes, I can sing. He's like, okay, jump onto the song. And it was called Black Piano. That's the first ever song. And then from Black Piano, music just became a thing. Like, every after school, I would just come home, drop my bag. After dropping my bag, I would just change and go to Tembisa. They live in Ivory Park, Tembisa. So change, go to Tembisa, chill in studio. I started off doing vocals for house songs, and then I was a rapper at some point. And then, yeah.
So you've done it all, actually.
I like to explore my options,
That's
you
a
know?
good thing, though.
Yeah, but yeah. Hey, I feel like if, you know, like growing up, you realize that if you put in effort into something and you put in the work, it'll work. But that time it was just a hobby for me. I was like, I want to go to the studio. I want to go to the studio. And like, that's all it was.
Do you see yourself going into music in the future?
I mean, I can't say no. I can't say no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to get into your work, what you do. I was listening to one of your podcasts, Driven by Diva.
Yes.
I like that you tackle societal issues. Like, why did you think it was important to launch podcasts like that?
Okay, so my dream job where, like, it's my ultimate is being on radio. So I was working at a radio station, but I was in the background. I was in production. You know, I worked my way to the mic eventually, but when I was still in production, I was like, you know what? I can't wait for opportunities to present themselves to me. I'm just that kind of a hardworking person. So I was like, you know what? Let me just create an opportunity for myself. maybe I can't be on national radio, but I can have a radio show in the form of a podcast. So with the podcast, I didn't want it to be typical, radio show with the music. And I wanted to have conversations that I never got to have, I wanted to know. The very first one that I did was living at home as a 20-something-year-old. I'm 21. I'm working at this big company radio station. I'm working with people who are not my peers, people above me, people who have their own cars, people who have their own apartments. I felt the pressure of, why am I living at home? These people, I still have rules. I have to be home at a certain time. So I was like, I'm feeling so pressured. But at that time, I'm just an intern. I started off as an intern. I can't take my 5K salary and go rent. I can't take my 5K salary and save up, because I'm also still trying to build myself. Ngapha on the side, I'm trying to, hustle empty. So it was just to motivate myself and also motivate people around me who actually wanted to be motivated. I wasn't putting it in people's faces. I would just put it out, be like, here's a podcast. Would you like to listen to it? This is what I'm talking about. So, yeah.
Speaking of radio stations, you were at Kaya FM.
Yes.
And you're working on Big Stars.
Yes.
How was that for you?
It was crazy. It was crazy because I was working for an internet radio station. And then I used to listen to big names on my way to work at an internet radio station. It's called the 1873 FM. So I remember listening to T-Boss because I used to love his speech on my top 10 at 10. I used to love it because of the music, nostalgic from my childhood, because my dad used to play that kind of music as well. So 1 week later, it was so crazy that this week I'm listening to radio and listening to this person on the radio, and the next week I'm in the studio producing my top 10 at 10, producing 180 with Bob. I'm with Bob, guys, it's Bob Mabena.
Like the OG of radio.
It's exactly, it's the OGs. I'm talking, I'm on Nikki B. I'm talking, it was crazy to be around that kind of environment. At some point, growing up, I was 21 at that time. Growing up, I kind of realized that it was a bit overwhelming, because I was just so starstruck. And I also wanted to be a star. And my work kind of fell back a little bit because now I'm around this, but forgetting that those people had to work to get to where they are. So I also had to do the same. But it was great.
I like that start where you actually start being behind the scenes and you produce work for people. You get to learn so much.
You do.
Yeah.
For real, you do. I got to learn things that, at Boston, I did all around everything, media. So from radio production, radio presenting, television production, being behind the camera, being in front of the camera. So being behind the scenes, actually, it builds you.
Absolutely.
You have roots. You're not just a bright flower, but you have roots. So I think it was a great start for me. Yeah.
Speaking of Boston, guys, I read a very wild blog post. I want you to tell me about that blog post.
Okay, girl, you know everything about me. You see, I've done everything. I've done music, I've done podcasts, I've done blog posts, I've been on radio, I've done everything. So I really like to explore my options. Life of a diva, bringing my Santon friends to the hood.
To the hood. That was so funny. It was so hilarious. But more than anything, I think I want to know the transition, When you're in Santon, obviously you're a different person. And when you're in Tembisa, you're a different person. How did you transition between those two worlds?
I never lost where I'm from. I was so proud of being from Tembisa. Even when I was at Boston, we're in the north, we're in Santon, Rosebank is close by. I had Club Sway right opposite the school, but I've never been to those clubs because it's not my vibe. When I was in Santon, I had friends with the weaves and stuff. I was never that girl, not that it was bad, but it just was not for me. So the transition was it wasn't difficult, because I'd still be myself even when I'm there. But of course, there are moments when you're just okay, now I need to step up, Okay, I'm going to Santon City and not a local mall, so I need to, but it wasn't difficult. It wasn't difficult at all. And my friends that I met at Boston, they also came from different backgrounds. So the location of where Boston is, it's in the heart of Santon, Benmore Gardens, but we had people from Bloemfontein. I had a friend from Bloemfontein. I had a friend from Spruitview, also from the hood. I had a friend from Mpumalanga, you know, so it's not like there are certain people in Sandton. We just in day
All
one.
meet in Sandton.
Yeah, for that. So it wasn't that hard. Yeah.
Do you know what I think is going to take you far? Authenticity.
Oh, girl.
You have it.
Thank
It's
you
there.
so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really try to like keep it. I really try to be myself as much as I can because trying to be someone else, like, oh,
So exhausting. It's exhausting.
like this outfit, I'm trying to be Wanang. I'm like, girl, why don't you just wear sweatpants? But I had to bring it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exhausting, but yeah, thank you.
Girl, your dad is a pastor.
Yes,
You are an MC at events. Do you not get judged for that?
Not really. You know, I think I'm an ignorant person. I'm very oblivious to my surroundings. So even if like people are talking about me or people are asking questions like, huh? And you know, like my mom would say, did you hear what the girl was saying? I'm like, hear what? What did she say? You know? So I feel like I've filtered out like all the comments and everything. Like he's also very supportive of my career. I think he understands me and I understand him, and I know that there's a level of respect that I must have for him as a father and for him as a pastor. And then he also knows that there's a level of support that he should have for me as an MC and being in the industry. So I don't get judged much. But if I am, then I don't see it. I don't hear it.
Speaking of MCing, you are a news anchor at Voice of Tembisa.
That's
right?
right.
I'm right?
You're right, yeah. That's
How do you-
correct. Like, girl, like,
How do you...
you know
like,
how many hairs I have in my head? Like, she knows everything, guys. What?
I want to know how, because the energy is different. Being
Yeah.
an MC and being like a news anchor. How do you like, you know, that range? What happens there from being a news anchor to being like a MC?
I don't know. I really
Multi-talented.
don't know. You know, I've never thought of it like that because I'm a very energetic MC. I love big stages like where there's like great loud music playing and I can dance on stage, but at the same time I can MC an awards show, which I did last year, and at the same time I can be a news reader and I can be a journalist as well. So I think it's just positioning yourself. I don't limit myself. I don't say yes I can do this, no I can't do this. I mean, like I go to like last week I submitted an audition for like acting, like, and afterwards I'm like, girl, what are you doing? You know. So I think even with like having to adapt, because I know I can adapt very well to when I'm at a place like this, when I'm with these kind of people, when I'm at a place like this, when I'm with these kind of people. So I think also with the juggling of the career stuff, yeah, I can adapt. When it's time to be serious, it's time to be serious.
You are a news anchor, a radio producer, businesswoman, MC, amongst other things. Girl, what have you not done that you'd like to try?
What have I not done that I'd like to try? Girl, sure. That is a very difficult question because I'm very media based. I'm a very media person because even like when I think of an idea, it's very media related, whether it's in your face, behind the mic, behind the scenes, production wise. But I'd really like to explore theater. That is like one thing that a lot of people do not know about me.
It's amazing. I've done theatre, it's amazing.
Really?
Yeah, I'm
really.
theatre
I
trained.
love theater. And I used to love going to theater shows. And like, because the emotion is so real there, you know, it feels so real.
It's immediate.
So like theater, whether it's like, but I don't see myself as an actress. I really
But you submitted an audition tape.
I know, because I don't. And I shut it myself. And I'm like, I was showing my mom. I'm like, Mama, how does this look? She's like, so I ate some money. It's like, bro, you are confusing us. You're giving us headaches. What is going on? But I really love theater. If I could act, if I could take myself seriously with the acting, then I would love to be on like state theater stages and yeah. I think that's it.
I want to take you back to primary school when you were being bullied. What would you like to tell that girl?
I hope you're happy. But because, you know, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. Like I said, she was my friend, right? But she was going through like a lot of stuff. where she wasn't prioritized with her family. But because of social media now, I can't say to her, I hope you're happy, because I know that she's happy, you know, because I see her living her best life and she's achieving things that, you know, any girl could wish for when it comes to like marriage. And okay, I'm not going to reveal too much, but yeah, I think she's good. What I'm going to say is I've forgiven you. I've forgotten about it. So it didn't like, stick with me, didn't traumatize me. It was just not nice when it was happening. But it didn't traumatize me. But I'm just gonna say, like, it's okay. But bullying is really not.
It's not okay.
It's not okay. It's not okay. It's you can't get over it while it's happening. Okay, let me say maybe 2 years after I experienced the bullying, because it was from grade 4 to grade 7. That's 4 years of my life being bullied. And when I'm moving to a new environment, I'm going to high school now, I expect the same thing, you know. And you can't expect to be bullied because it's something that you're used to. So bullying is not, it's not okay.
And what would you like to say to the younger Zandi?
Relax. Because I stress out a lot. This is actually getting me very emotional. Like, I stress out a lot because I feel like time is running out, right? It's just like I told you, I've been a rapper, I've been everything, because I feel like I need to squeeze everything in quickly before I die, or quickly before I'm 30, because when I'm 30, no one's going to consider you, because that's what was instilled in our minds. Guti, when you're in the media industry, you need to be young.
Yeah.
You know, you need to be 19, 20, 21. As soon as you are 23, then it's over, you know. So I tried to like squeeze everything in, and there was a lot of pressure from me because there's expectations from people. And as soon as you say, I have a podcast out, and then like now you're not focusing on the podcast, now you're focusing on the blog. The people you told about the podcast are like, how? You have a podcast, manje. You're busy, you know? But I would tell myself to relax, you know, everything has its own time. Enjoy life. Enjoy. Don't be too caught up. Because I also suffered like depression at some point. But that depression was because of the transition of like me moving away from home, going to stay at res. So when I was at res, like I was alone now. And my friends had their own places and stuff like that. When I was at res, I was alone. And I was thinking too much, you know. I ended up like in hospital as well. And it was strenuous, but I've learned from that, you know. I took my meds and I'm good now. And like people are just like, what? You were in hospital that time? Because like I said, I wear a mask. I have my poker face on. You will never tell how I'm feeling. Like, I swear, my dog could die today and tomorrow I would come to you. And if people know me, they know my dog is my baby. Like, but you know, I just wear a mask. I never want people to know that I'm going through anything. And I had this habit of like writing on social media when I was younger, you know, like, I hate this on Facebook, and post people's pictures with the red mark all over it and say, I hate you, or I hate my life and stuff. But I'm totally over it now. But I still wear my mask. I'm not going to say I don't go through problems. I go through a lot of problems. And I still wear my mask. I just don't want people to see what's going on with me.
Yeah, sometimes you have to, especially when you're in the entertainment industry. Exactly. Yeah. So you do a lot of things, right? Like I said, MC, radio, producer, and I want to know what you'd like to be remembered as.
I would like to be remembered as, because, listen, we have, like, you and I can relate, and all the black ladies out there can also relate. We have a lot of things that are pressing us down. Number 1, we're black. Number 2, we're women. Number 3, we are young. Yeah. Those are all disadvantages when it comes to us, you know. So I want to be able to like push through and show the next person that you can also push through that. You know, you can break all boundaries, break all barriers that were set for you, and you can become, let's say, an all-round media mogul. That's what I'd like to be remembered as, you know. Like, when I was reading newspaper, Zandi was a journalist in newspaper. Oh, wait a minute. she was on radio. She was, nothing is impossible.
Absolutely.
Nothing is impossible. And you don't have to get to a certain level to be satisfied. Thing is, people, they never get satisfied with what they do. I wasn't a news anchor for a big radio station like Metro FM. I was just a voice of Tembisa, you know, news anchor, but I'm so satisfied that I did that. You know, of course, I want to climb up the ladder, up the ladder, but be satisfied with what you've done for now, and then as time goes by, you'll be satisfied with the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and that's how I'd like to be remembered. The girl who's satisfied with her work.
Thank you so much for joining us and making time for us. You are absolutely amazing. I love the work you do.
Thank you, girl. It was so lovely meeting you. You're great. Like, you're great. I actually felt like I was talking to my sister. You know?
Thank you so
You're
much.
great. You're beautiful.
Thank you.
I love your work as well. I've only known you for like a week.
Yeah.
Virtually,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
chatting.
yeah.
But remember the first time we spoke, I'm like, oh my gosh, she was such a vibe. I really love the work that you do as well. So, yeah.
Guys, today is quite special. I'm interviewing an MC, so she's going to do the outro.
I got you! Okay, thank you so much for joining us, people. We have your girl Leni over here, the amazing presenter, and you got your girl ZanDeevah here signing out. Ow!